Hello duelists, I'm back. It has been a while for some Duel Links content, and I figured what better than walking through the ban list that was announced just a few days ago that will be hitting Duel Links on August 24th. I'd like to talk through the different cards here, not just what is getting banned, but why, and what are the implications to each of the decks that they are within. Maybe some things that aren't here, and could kind of power creep some other decks and bring them up, because I have a few ideas there. But we'll start off right at the top with the Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. This is getting limited to one. Now, we're only using one of this card in the deck anyway. So why? Well, the reason why is because Orcust Odd Eyes decks were still being used quite a lot even after the last ban list. So now with Tower of Babel also being limited one, you can't play both, which was really one of the most effective pieces on the Odd or the Orcust side of the deck. So this is kind of stopping that. There are some more Orcust things coming up later on in the ban list, so those two will hurt things in the big picture. But that is why this is one, because it seems random given you're only playing one anyway. You can't even get more than one, I don't believe. But on to the next piece here, Blue Sky. I've been playing a little Mech Knights this month. So I think this is really interesting to me. I didn't expect this because there's another ban list, or another item on the ban list. If I scroll a little further down, Indigo Eclipse is also limited to. So this is them easing up on Mech Knights a little bit. It's not like that much. The reason I say that is what your deck would look like now, essentially, would be probably one World Legacy Memory, two purples, so those are three limited threes, one Blue Sky, and one Indigo Eclipse. Like in a perfect deck, you probably played two Blue Skies, but that would be if Indigo was unlimited. I really like Indigo more than some people, so I would probably play one of each of these two. I'm probably going to play the deck a little bit. I still play it now because being able to stop opponents' monster effects is really powerful. Really solid deck, a little bit bricky, but regardless. So this is them, I think, slowly letting Mech Knights back into the game. I'm just a little surprised Indigo Eclipse is also added to the limited 2. I think if just Blue Sky was limited to, I think the world would be in danger because the deck would be all the way back. So that's why you saw the second part of the move there, but Indigo just feels a little bit random. Really powerful card regardless. But yeah, if you want to play Mech Knights, which were still playable even before this move, the door's creeping open a little bit more and there's a lot you can do. Speedroid Motoshi Piper. This is interesting. This is really just another way to knock down Speedroid because you have the Yo-Yo, which was limited to, and now also putting this on there. It is, yeah, so as the listing says here, this will reduce the high consistency and slow down the ability to summon many monsters. I mean, Speedroid is just super powerful. This card itself is not too broken. I mean, you can draw up to 3 cards, or you can excavate 3 cards and pick one to keep from it, which is very often, like, I found myself trying to get my Forbidden Lance that way to protect from spell effects. And that's kind of what this is here, is you're just knocking the deck down a little bit more. This isn't going to break it, but it's going to be less consistent, and sometimes making things less consistent is another way of breaking too. So we'll see maybe a little less Speedroid moving on, but it's still going to be really damn powerful. Farfa, Burning Abyss will be back a little bit. I'm not going to talk a ton about that, but sure. I don't know if there's any other limited 2s within Burning Abyss, but I don't think people are going to be playing it right away, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time here. Yeah, Orcust Nightmare, limited 2. Sure. People aren't playing more than 2. I don't think there's, off the top of my head, any other limited 2s in that deck, so not really competing with anything. There's other Orcust on this deck list, or the ban list, so that'll be more effective, but this is still kind of random in my opinion. I just don't think you're playing 3 in a deck. You're trying to play a 20 card deck right now with Orcust, and 2 Nightmares is probably exactly what you're doing anyway, so again, little impact in isolation, but I think the overall impact to Orcust will be bigger. First off, when we look at Orcust Harp Horror, this is kind of a little bit stronger than we had last month for sure. So like before, the limited 3s in an Orcust deck were being used for generally limited 3 traps or something like Mind Control. I was probably doing 2 of, and like 1 Ice Dragon's Prison. Now, when we put limited 3 on Harp Horror, and we also have Scrap Recycler at limited 3, you're probably playing 2 scrap recyclers and 1 harpor, which a lot of times you're playing 2 harpors in the deck before. This is pretty powerful in reducing the consistency because even last month, like, I got to King of Games with Orcus pretty damn easily. They're still really, really good decks, but it was a little bit bricky, and now it's going to be even more bricky. My hope is that people are sick of playing the deck, and now that it's a little brickier, they just stay away, but I'm pretty confident you can still find ways with other special summoning cards, your Linkslayer, your Illusion, Magician, and all of those to special summon and get another card out, and then play something like Harpor, which is just a normal summon, and get into your Orcus combos. But again, hoping the consistency just deters players from playing, so we can play new decks and have fun again. But overall, this has been a lot more fun of a meta than recent months for sure. All right, Dark Contract with the Gate. I don't think this is just impactful. People aren't playing DDD. I don't think this, like, it's just not impactful. DDD is a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of like a more modern, what Blue Eyes was in the beginning, where you can get a lot of monsters out, but a little bit fragile too, and that's where we stand. Transmodify, I've also been touched a few times recently. Yeah, just no comment. Same thing on the Ritual Beast. Tamer Elder. Ritual Beasts aren't getting played right now. Nothing more to say. Now, Magician Navigation is a little bit interesting to me. The reason I say that, I mean, Dark Magician's deck, I saw we played a bit more last month. I don't think it was by, like, King of Games level players too often, but this does help get the monsters out. It's not the best card, but having, like, 1 or 2 and not having to compete over limited 3 spots, which this was previously, I think might be nice. But like anything else that comes off the ban list, you don't, like, it generally might see a little bit of play for a few weeks and then just disappear, so I don't think this is anything more than that. I don't like that Goki Suprex is off of the ban list. Goki has been toxic even in the last few months. It always is. You can just smash through opponents. If you want to get like an easy King of Games, play Goki. Like, there's little to no thinking involved. You just get a powerful punch with a piercing attack and one-shot your opponent and get on with your day. So yeah, not a fan here. And hopefully I never see the deck again. Metal Foes Fusion. People aren't playing it. They were playing it in the past. I ran into some really good players that were. Maybe we see a little more, but again, I don't think it's enough of a bump to see, you know, a lot of play with it. Now, Magician's Rod was one of the cards competing against Magician Navigation before, where they were both, I think, limited 3. So you can play 2 of each now. I don't think you definitely don't need 3. Again, you can build your Dark Magician's deck and play it. It's not the best deck out there. It's not going to be tiered, but you'll have more flexibility, as the text here says. I'm going to ignore Savant Kepler for the same reason I ignored the other DDD card, because I just don't think it's going to be impactful. You know, you can probably get to King of Games with DDD if you're really good right now. I know players were doing it the last few months, but just, you know, if you're looking for a not so painful route of doing it, just don't play DDD. Wait until it's good again. We get more support, and there are plenty of more DDD cards that are going to be unveiled. Tuning is really interesting to me. This impacted both the Synchron and Resonator decks, but mostly the Synchron. It really hurt because it went to limited 3, and there was a bunch of other limited 3 cards in that deck, especially right after, I think it was the KC Cup, where, like, it was just bullying people. So this came off the list pretty quick. I know I had requests to play Synchrons, and after seeing this, I think I definitely will. I was thinking of doing it later this month, but yeah, I mean, this is just allows you to build the deck, because you're always getting a Synchron monster from your deck, and that is going to be Junk Synchron, typically, or depending on, it could be Jet Synchron, whatever. But just really powerful card, and allows you to chain and be very, very consistent. So, great move there. Dark Arm Dragon, I don't think it really needed to be on the ban list before anyway, because it wasn't usable until recently with the Arm Dragon deck. But sure, I mean, it's still not a very good deck compared to the top decks right now. Warrior of Greed, I think the water deck I've still seen quite a bit of, so I think this could see creep into some play for sure. Yeah, I think this is one of the more interesting ones. It's not probably gonna, like, get talked about, but it's a really good card. Shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand, then draw 3 cards. That's kind of ridiculous. It does require you to have 2 water monsters, but drawing 3 cards if you need to use this type of effect is really good. I think it was already up to limited 2 before this, I want to say, so, you know, do you need 3 in your deck? Probably not, and you're probably not playing any other limited 2s in your deck, but flexibility for sure. Liquid Soldier. Heroes are out of fashion right now, so, well, I take that back. They're out of fashion with elemental hero decks for the most part. You have in your Destiny Heroes, you're not going to play 3 of these, I don't think, anyway, especially in that Destiny Heroes deck. So when Elemental Heroes come back with some support, then you'll play 3 of these probably, because they are really good. That draw advantage for 2 cards, and also the special summoning from the graveyard, so really, really good. When I was playing that deck a bit, I swapped, I think it was like Nightmare Phoenix for Dark Rebellion Nixie's Dragon, because when you would play the effect, normal summon it, special summon at level 4 from the graveyard, and then Nixie summon into that, saved me in quite a few duels. So, really good card, that's why it was limited to begin with. Having 3 will have its day. Sure. Not even going to cover this here. Darkest Dragon Doom Rider. I don't know, the limit of Odd Eyes Raging Dragon is the text listed here, but it doesn't. I don't think it's too impactful. Like, people are still gonna play it. You're not gonna play more than one because you just don't want to use that much space in your extra deck, because that extra deck for Odd Eyes is really flexible depending on like situations and whatnot. But I also think this card is powerful, but it's also fragile. Like, the whole Odd Eyes deck is just destroyed by like a Dark Hole or something like that. Or even a Book of Moon here. Your opponent goes first, brings out the Darkest Dragon Doom Rider. You have a Book of Moon, flip it over, ta-da. Like, there's nothing left there. So you're not going to play multiple. This just doesn't impact anything. Aloof Lupine. I have no idea why. This is part of the Metaphys deck, I believe. But maybe there's another use case I'm not aware of. But just, let's say no impact. That's what we're going to leave off. That is my analysis of the ban list. I think... actually, the one thing I should mention, too, is there's nothing here. So we have tier 1 with Odd Eyes, and with Speedroid. Both of those are impacted for sure, so those are going to get knocked down. Tier 2, I believe we had Orchist, and what we're not seeing here with Trickstars, nothing on Trickstars is touched. I've been loving them for a while now. Might continue to play it. I do like some variety, but the deck is just, I find it fun to play with all the hand traps. Not impacted. I can't remember the full tier 3, but I know things like Destiny Heroes were on there, so that's not really impacted. I'm not going to really count the Liquid Soldier in there. But basically, tier 1's going to get knocked down. Orchest will too. Trickstars might go on the rise, and other decks will get a little bit of bump. Probably Goki back to like tier 3 and stuff like that, but should balance the game a little better, as they always say, and let's see what happens. Again, this is live, I believe we said August 24th. Let me just scroll back up here. August 24th, so the end of the month, we'll have this implemented. If you haven't hit King games already, you can use these changes to your advantage, or to your advantage before then. Take advantage of the cards that are not going to be playable then. Hope this has been helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and enjoy the rest of your day.